In Episode 6, Study Roadmap and Weekly Cadence, we shift from understanding what the PMI-RMP exam tests to designing how you will prepare for it. The challenge is not simply learning content, but sustaining effort over weeks or months without losing energy. Many candidates begin with enthusiasm, but fade because their study plans lack rhythm. A good plan feels balanced, predictable, and flexible. It recognizes that learning follows cycles: exposure, reflection, and reinforcement. In this episode, we build that structure, a roadmap that links domains to habits, turns time into traction, and helps you finish strong without burnout. The first step is mapping exam domains into weekly themes. Each domain, strategy, identification, analysis, response, and monitoring, becomes a focused week or cluster of weeks depending on your schedule. This thematic rotation keeps attention deep rather than scattered. For example, one week might explore strategy and planning with readings, notes, and practice questions exclusively in that area. The next shifts to identification, then analysis, and so forth. By anchoring each week to a single domain, your brain builds stronger contextual links. Revisiting earlier themes later for integration ensures continuity, transforming isolated study into cumulative understanding. A sustainable plan alternates light and heavy study days. Cognitive endurance, like physical endurance, requires recovery periods. Heavy days involve deep reading, scenario drills, or mock questions. Light days emphasize note review, summary writing, or listening to recorded explanations. This variation prevents fatigue while maintaining momentum. The key is discipline through pacing, never studying to exhaustion, never resting into drift. Plan heavy sessions when mental energy peaks, often early in the day, and use lighter tasks during lower energy windows. Consistency across weeks creates compounding confidence, while fluctuation in daily intensity keeps motivation alive. Each day follows a simple loop: read, recall, review. Reading introduces or revisits content, but recall converts it into memory. Close the book, then summarize in your own words what you just learned. Reviewing afterward checks accuracy and fills gaps. This read, recall, review rhythm turns passive reading into active engagement. It can fit within short sessions: 40 minutes of study, 10 minutes of recall, 5 minutes of reflection. The loop builds mastery quietly, day by day, converting information into intuition. Over time, your retention deepens not because of extra hours, but because of structured repetition. Weekly learning cycles extend this principle into reflection. End each week by taking a short quiz from that domain, ideally 20 to 30 questions. Review not only what you missed, but why. Patterns of error reveal whether your issue lies in concept clarity, vocabulary, or reasoning. Write a short weekly reflection, 3 sentences on what improved, what lagged, and what needs focus next. Then refine the following week's plan accordingly. This rhythm of feedback transforms studying from linear effort into adaptive learning. Each week becomes a self-correcting loop, steadily narrowing weaknesses while reinforcing strengths. A living study tracker ties the entire roadmap together. Whether a spreadsheet, notebook, or app, it should log sessions, topics, and performance. The act of tracking turns vague effort into visible progress. Include columns for domain, activity type, time spent, and quiz scores. Add color codes for mastery levels: green for solid, yellow for uncertain, red for weak. This visual feedback fuels motivation. More importantly, it prevents neglecting smaller domains that contribute to overall proficiency. The tracker becomes both mirror and compass, a record of discipline and a guide for what to tackle next. Spaced repetition is the engine that locks key terms and concepts into long-term memory. Instead of reviewing material only once, revisit it at increasing intervals: 1 day later, 3 days later, a week later, then 2 weeks later. This schedule mirrors how memory naturally decays and strengthens. Flashcards, whether physical or digital, fit perfectly here. Focus on definitions, process steps, and formula logic. The technique is efficient because it targets forgetting just before it happens. Over time, critical terminology, like expected monetary value or risk appetite, becomes effortless recall, freeing mental bandwidth for analytical questions on exam day. Scenario practice always outweighs raw memorization in effectiveness. The PMI-RMP exam rewards applied thinking, not rote detail. As you study, translate concepts into small stories. If learning about qualitative analysis, imagine a team debating risk priority under limited data. If reviewing governance roles, picture a project board balancing appetite against tolerance. Practicing through context cements understanding far deeper than isolated facts. Each scenario rehearsal trains pattern recognition, the ability to see familiar logic within unfamiliar wording. That skill, not memorization, separates consistent passers from those who freeze at novel question phrasing. Pairing concepts with brief case vignettes reinforces intuition. These mini-narratives need not be elaborate, just concise reminders that anchor abstract terms to real behavior. For instance, associate risk trigger with a specific example like supplier delay notification. Link residual risk to leftover exposure after mitigation. Building a catalog of micro-cases makes recall automatic during the exam because memory prefers stories over statements. When each definition carries an image or event, even complex frameworks become conversational. Over time, your mental library of vignettes becomes a second language, quick, flexible, and durable under stress. Schedule regular mini-mocks under authentic constraints. Once every 2 or 3 weeks, simulate timed sections of 50 questions. Treat each session seriously. Silence notifications, use a timer, and avoid pausing for explanations. These drills train pacing and concentration. After completion, analyze not just results but patterns. Where did fatigue start? Which topics consumed time? Which errors repeated? By tightening timing awareness early, you avoid panic later. Each mock becomes both test and teacher, showing where to push harder and where to maintain. Consistent simulation turns exam day into something familiar rather than intimidating. Protect rest and focus windows as fiercely as study sessions. Cognitive recovery determines retention quality. Sleep consolidates learning, converting short-term encoding into stable memory. Without rest, extra study yields diminishing returns. Similarly, focused blocks require full attention, no divided screens or background noise. Use short bursts of deep focus followed by genuine breaks. Rest is not laziness. It is the hidden multiplier of efficiency. Professionals who respect this cycle maintain clarity, while those who overwork lose precision. A disciplined cadence values renewal as much as repetition, keeping both memory and morale strong through the final stretch. Progress measurement should reflect the exam's own structure. Revisit the domain weightings and compare them against your tracker data. If analysis or strategy carries higher scoring impact, ensure proportional study time. Use quiz results to gauge improvement within each domain's percentage share. A balanced plan aims for confidence across all areas, but weighted awareness prevents misplaced effort. Performance metrics guide not only pacing, but also self-belief. You see proof that growth matches priority. Objective measurement turns preparation from abstract studying into a quantifiable project you manage like any professional engagement. As the exam approaches, adopt a 2-week taper strategy. This phase is less about learning new material and more about consolidation. Reduce session intensity slightly, but increase review frequency. Focus on weak spots identified in prior mocks, recheck flashcards, and practice calm test routines. The taper mimics athletic training, reducing load to maintain sharpness. By the final week, you should shift from building knowledge to maintaining confidence and rhythm. Familiarity breeds steadiness. Arrive at exam week refreshed, not drained, ready to demonstrate mastery rather than chase it. In the end, a study plan succeeds through commitment and iteration. Discipline forms its spine. Adaptability keeps it alive. No plan survives unchanged, but every adjustment reveals self-awareness. The PMI-RMP journey mirrors risk management itself, planning, monitoring, and responding to change. By designing a sustainable cadence, you practice the very principles you will later apply professionally. Execute your plan with purpose, reflect weekly, and stay kind to your focus. Success in this certification depends not on brilliance, but on consistency. The quiet rhythm of effort repeated until excellence feels inevitable. Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit DailyCyber.News.